What's up, everybody? Let's see if we can. What's up, Tim and Paul and Sir Goodenough, and of course, first but not least, Nexus, right? I was on the other one a couple hours. That counts. Yeah, so I'm sure everybody's bored. I know we talked about doing some streams earlier. Probably Friday or Saturday. All the days run together now. I'm guessing for most people. Um, so probably tonight was the best time. I still have to work tomorrow, so even though it's different location, but still have to work. And things have been busy for us. So, so I guess one thing I was gonna play with was oh, the beard. Yeah, I thought about, hey, if I didn't have to go to work for a month, then I'll see what kind of ridiculous non-connecting beard that becomes patchy and everything, much like my hair in the same way, right? Maybe I can grow it better on the face than I can the head, right? So it's usually the way it goes. But so I was playing around with. I've got one light switch I wanted to do, so I figured, hey, I was gonna do it anyway, and wanting to mess around with it and get some rules done with it and Node-RED and automations. And it's just a little two-gang switch. But before we jump off into that, I was going to be doing it anyway and trying to figure out how I wanted to set it up and kind of thinking through it in the mind. Maybe you guys could kind of see it as well, and maybe y'all would learn something. Um, so there is one thing I wanted to roll into after we do the switch. 'Cause I saw a commit with Tasmota or Tasmota. Um, maybe we shouldn't go there again, but so there's one commit I wanted to go look at, but I know if everybody has seen, they have the Tasmota 8.2 has released. One of the cool things I saw is now they are using the Core 2.6.3. Hey, what's up, William? One of the ever. It seems like we have a bunch of Williams in here after a while, but we'll see. Maybe you'll just be the sole William. Um, just don't use Hyperion. Y'all stop with the words already. Y'all gonna try to get me to butcher names or try to offend somebody. Yeah, we can't say the C word, okay? I don't want to, or call it another name, the B word. I don't want to offend anybody, okay? YouTube has it banned anyway, right? Doc stream, yeah, I didn't get a chance. I was busy during the day today, in and out with kid stuff and yard work. That's usually how Sundays go for me. Sundays during the day are pretty busy. So in the core, and I know some people ask like, well, what's the core version and why do I care? The core version is in Tasmota and Hyperion. Yeah, okay. I see. I haven't even tried messing with that name. I don't even know what that is. I think I've heard of it, but I haven't messed with that. So maybe I'll stay away with that anyway. I already dumped enough time into Proxmox today. So, and no hate on Proxmox. It's just I think I was going down some deep rabbit holes in Proxmox, and it just to probably save $5. But that's a whole nother story. Maybe we'll get to it at the end. Um, Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, you won't see me doing Hyperion. My wife would beat my ever living thing if I had some lights flashing behind the TV. So, um, she doesn't even like colored lights and warm white lights, and that would drive her. That would drive us nuts. Not that I don't watch too much TV anyway. Um, but the core version is basically kind of, in layman's terms, think of it as just a library behind. It's nothing to do with the actual application. You'll actually see core versions in like ESP Home and ESPurna and other open source projects. Think of it kind of like the Windows. If you're familiar with Windows, kind of think of it like your Windows OS operating system. And I know some people are like, "Oh no, that's not what it is." Well, in layman's terms, just think of it as that's the underlying base of the code that where the application, which is Tasmodo or ESP Home, runs on top of it. So the core 2.6.3, they have actually, and I don't know if they talk about it in here in the change log. The they actually have some GZ zipped binaries now. Do you know what? How do you have a way to know the solar cell? No, I do not. Without physically looking at it, I don't think there's a on that little charger. There's an LED on it but of course you have to like come up at an angle to really see if it's charging or not. I don't think there is that there. That would be kind of cool if there was a binary output on there that you could drive to go to a GPIO pin. I don't think there is. But if you notice in the if you went to, let's see, GitHub, nope, wrong one. Tasmoda. We'll get there eventually. So if you notice now, if you go down and you say you want to download like the development ones, and you click on the hack box, and let's see, hopefully it won't be down again. You'll notice there's now these GZ files, and they're much smaller. You see they've got like 402K, the Wi-Fi bandwidth 326, but the full binary 402 is like the full Tasmodo bin. And even like look down at the sensors. It's only the big one with the sensors is only 416K. Now files to it, but the thing is you have to be on the new core first, and then that new core accepts those GZ files, and it will prevent you from having to do in the future of having to do where it has to do that automatic flash or the minimal, and then it goes to the other one. So that will help a lot with those. And I haven't done one yet. I want to try on like I'm gonna try one on like we could try one here, little Wemos, and just because I like to try different firmwares, and if you blow something up on a Wemos or a Node MCU, of course, well, you just reflash it, and you're not, having to solder a light switch or anything. The merge your DigiDim for there is kind of there is a in a way, yes. There's a PCDM, the one that I did the video on the device groups, which by the way, that if you haven't checked out that device groups, it's awesome. I was at one of the little DIY smart home project house last night, and we did finally got all the bulbs and everything to you converted and whatnot, and we actually had YouTube's not receiving enough video. Tell me if the video goes nuts. We actually had, because there was two bulbs, and I'd forgotten to bring my Raspberry Pi to flash them out of 2U convert. So in a pinch, we just put the switch in the wall and had the switch automation actually call 2U and have 2U turn it on, and good God, it was slow. You'd push the button, and it was like a second or two later, and then finally the lights would come on. It drove them nuts. Yeah, I had an error. It says YouTube not receiving enough video to maintain stream. I'm sure the internets are very taxed at this time. Well, maybe not till tomorrow, but you never know. So now we switched it over, and I put the 8.2 on the bulbs and the switch, and did that that device groups thing, man, it's like you push the button. I sat there playing with it, just pressing the button, and it was like right when you press that button, it's those lights were on. That thing's lightning fast. So um, let me just run. Let me run it. I'm gonna make sure a ping session right quick. Make sure I'm not going nuts with pings. Let's see, William. I give up with Proxmox because all I did was an i5. Yeah, I played around with Proxmox. Only I put one VM on there, a little Debian VM, and I put Home Assistant in there, and I was just using that HP 290 box that we did the bare metal thing last live stream, and I wanted to kind of get a feel for what difference it made putting it in a VM on Proxmox. Now I do have the 12 gig of RAM on that box, so there's that 12 gig of RAM, DDR4. The processor is only that little 2-core Celeron. Was it like 4900 or something like that? It's the 8th gen Celeron. And then we had that 250 gig SS, that NVE SSD. And it actually did pretty well. I didn't notice a huge difference putting it in a VM and putting a Home Assistant on it. And I wanted to try to put another VM on it and see, run 2 VMs side by side and see what it would do. Then I was going to mess with, I don't know if he's in here, BK 101, and a few others we're talking about. Was it, if I'm saying it backwards, I'm sure I'm going to butcher it. Is it is it ESXi or EXSI? I can't remember. I'm sure somebody will comment. And I wanted to see kind of how that ran on that machine as well, just to kind of give me a feel for 2 different kind of virtual environments, and then also one, bare metal. And then once I did that, I want to do the inevitable and put Windows on it, because it does have a Windows 10 license that comes with it. Put Windows 10 back on it, and I want to mess with it and see what will happen with it in Blue Iris. So I'm not expecting a whole lot out of it with Blue Iris, but if I can get 2 or 3 cameras out of it, it might not be too bad. But price for that, you might as well just go with a hardware NVR at that point, to be honest with you. So we'll see. So with Tasmota, there is I know I got way off on there. There is one, if you look, if you look for, I know we're asking the question about the PWM dimmer, which is the Martin Jerry dimmers. And if you do want to take a read, on those, it's got some, and it's no disrespect to PCDM or whatever, if you may be watching. Some of the ways we use it in the house, I know there's some cool stuff where you can just hold it down and the brightness jumps up and down. But then on some of our switches, we do a long press on a dimmer actually turns our ceiling fan speeds differently. So I can't really use that. So I think what I'm going to use, be honest with you, is use his module and code he built into the base of Tasmodo, but then I'll just change and add on my own template and still use rules, kind of a pseudo configuration of that PWM dimmer, in my terms, best of both worlds. So that it'll allow you to pick which way you want to go with the dimmer. But it's pretty cool work. He's got a lot of stuff in there. So definitely, after the stream, you can take a look at it, and he's got some like remote device mode. He's also, of course, the same guy that did the awesome device group stuff. So it looks like we're fine on. That's what I was looking at. It looked like we're fine on pings. I was just pinging 8.8.8. So I'm not seeing any major issues of internet here. Think a dimmer could control a ceiling fan. Not directly. Well, let me back up. I would only, for the dimmer, if you're going to be hooking a dimmer to a ceiling fan, be sure that device that actually says it is for controlling a ceiling fan. I have heard of people taking the Martin Jerry dimmers or Moe's dimmers, and they've hooked them up to a ceiling fan, and lasted all but a couple minutes, and they just end up smoking the dimmer, and it just no longer worked. And luckily, nothing caught on fire for them, but they just ended up the dimmer ended up stopped working. So do make sure if you're using a dimmer that it's actually says it's rated for ceiling fans. So now what I use the dimmer for is like in my iFan project where the long press buttons on the dimmer actually sends MQTT commands to the iFan. So it's not directly electrically controlling it. So I guess we'll jump into so this is one switch. This is a switch I have, and I wanted to get it for. I picked up one of these the other day, and I thought it was kind of cool because, and this is the switch here, and I know I know for the Australian guys, yeah, this is a US size switch again, but this is they had I almost bought the 3-gang, and I hate to say three. Well, actually, they say 1-gang. So actually say it right for once. I hate when they always say, "Oh, it's a 3-gang switch," when it's just 3 buttons and a 1-gang. So I actually got this terminology right. So props to them. I didn't need the 3 buttons. I almost was tempted. Well, let me just go ahead and buy that one and have the 3rd button just in case I want to do something. But I really couldn't think what I wanted to do with it. So I just did. I stuck with just the 2-gang one. I got myself saying it backwards. The 2 switch 1-gang one. And I did of course it flashed fine with 2U convert, and it's this switch here. Am I got something wrong with the chat? I guess my chat stopped working for some reason. Yeah, get away. So I see in the chat on the screen, but I'm not seeing the chat on the. Here we go. Oh, I had it picked wrong. Look, I was missing out in the chat the whole time. What did I miss? Yeah, it's a couple. Yeah, the drivers. Yeah, yeah. Sorry, I'm catching up on chat here. I had it picked on top chat for some reason, not live chat. Go to 8. Yeah. I would say, what's up, Federico? So yeah, definitely 8.2. I knew he just ignores us. I was like, wait a minute. I seen a new chat on the screen over here. Um, yeah, see, it says streams current bit rate. That's crazy. I wonder what. Now you're gonna want me? Is it my issue? And see, unless it's the. Let's see. They have you send. Let's see if this pings. A-RTMP youtube.com. I guess that doesn't ping. Oh, there it goes. But the whole world streaming issue. Yeah, it does not surprise me. I wanted to make sure. I'm looking at my router. Why? Oh, somebody said the C word. Yeah. Actually, I had that issue with a lot of conference calls and Zoom and stuff like that over the week. It was just like trying to dial in. Kept getting circuits are busy. It was everything. Um, yeah, see, I'm not seeing anything crazy on my router. I've got 35 up, and we're only hitting like 15 up right now. So, um, one thing I want to look at right quick. Yeah, that it. I'm sure all of the different the different websites for doing audio conferencing and video conferencing, they just got just slammed. Um, and I've actually, the speeds have been fine here. I've been actually surprised at that. So, but yeah, we're fine on network stuff. So, it must be out of my realm. Yeah, I want to. Typically, I run some Grafana. Let's see if what it shows. I'll pull it over the side here. Give me a second. So typically, what this shows, well, you can see I have dropped. It started dropping off around 6:30 on the. Oh, I guess I can't. Should drag it up, Travis, so you can see the time. It started dropping off around 6:30 on the uplink, and typically I do run in here around 600 to 700, and I don't. Even though I can speed test 800, 900 or so, I don't know why this little Docker container, it just seems like it only wants to max out like 700 or something like that. So, but so yeah, there's a little bit, but not bad. So yeah, they actually Cox Communications. They actually, and no, it's COX for the ones that have never heard of the company. It's not spelled the other way. It's COX. It's a real name. Um, you may want to call them a different name, but here nor there. They actually caved finally the day after, because they sent out an email saying, "Oh, we're going to open up all our Wi-Fi hotspots." Well, wait a minute. You don't want people to be out in public, but you're opening up all your Wi-Fi hotspots. I don't get that. So then the day later they caved and said, "Oh yeah, we're going to take off our 1 terabyte caps and take off our overage fees." So I think it's after they got a lot of backlash on Twitter and other things. So, um, so enough about my rambling anymore. Anybody want any more rambling? Let me know. I'm usually pretty good at it. All owned by one parent company. I think actually Cox Communications, they used to be publicly traded, but then they went back to privately. I think they bought back their stock, if that's the correct term. Yeah, the only other option I have, which I'm lucky to have an option, is it would be AT&T Uverse. And I think I only get like 20 or 25 download, and like the up is like 1.5, and probably wouldn't be doing a lot of YouTube stuff with that, unfortunately. So, um, I'm trying to zoom my camera while we're talking here. I guess I should put this higher, but then it'll be in the way of my mic. No, I'm not trying to show a Shelly flood. That's just sitting on the desk unless y'all really want to talk about it. No, it does not. I'll explain in a second here. So it does come with a regular. I do have the light off over here so y'all can see the LEDs. It does come with a regular, Decora faceplate, and it will fit in a. Well, now I start to stutter for some reason, and it will fit in a Decora faceplate. It will. Yeah, I was just looking at making sure. It will fit in a Decora faceplate since it does have the regular screw holes. But I wanted to do there are two buttons, and it is just a 10 amp per relay, but I'm only using it right now. I'm actually going to be replacing a Shelly 2.5 right now, or 2.0. I kind of remember. Um, let's see. So this is I have a 2-button thing right now, but the problem is, let me put this on the desk so y'all can see it. You still ordering? You still ordering Home Assistant? Yeah, there's I can still get stuff from Amazon and while they have stock. Now it takes like 4 or 5 days, it seems. Let's see. So this is what I'm I have a Shelly 2 module in there right now, and it's way more than enough, of course, because the way I have a rule set right now is when you turn the light on, it turns on the vent. And so you'll see when we turn it on the light, it's going to turn on the vent automatically. But if I turn off the light, turn off the vent, and this is calibrated, the light's on, it's one LED bulb is pulling 8 watts. So you're looking at what, 0.12 amps. And then the vent itself is, I want to say like 35 watts, 28 watts on the vent. And so then 0.2. So 10 amps is way more than enough than I need for this project. And the reason why, even though, yeah, I do like the Shellys, and it worked out great for this when I first put it in, is I couldn't find a decent little device that has 2 buttons that fits in a Decora, because it's in a 2-gang Decora, and the one next to it is just a standard rocker where the heater is at, and I'm not putting the heater in a smart switch. Yeah, that Shelly 2.5, that's a Shelly 2.0 in there. That does have power monitoring. The Shelly 2.5 has power monitoring as well. And they have the Shelly1 PM, I think it is. Is it the Shelly? It's like Shelly. And I know for the US folks, there's a Shelly store. I know if you're trying to get stuff and it's not through Amazon, they do have a Shelly store. And I got the Shelly Flood. I got that in a couple days. But of course I didn't think about getting some batteries for it, so I had to order some batteries. So yeah, the Shelly 2.5, it does have power monitoring, and those are designed to go in the box, in your receptacle box. So yeah, here's the thing I did, and that's why I do have a 2-rocker, one gang, and let me switch back. I do have a two rocker. Was actually a 3-rocker because I had it on hand. The third one doesn't do anything. So I had the 3-rocker, and that does the light and the vent. And then I had the standard rocker on the side for the heater. But the problem is now I want to be able to do some automations, and I want to be able to do the long press stuff with doing the long press. And to be able to do that, I would have had to modify that rocker, and I don't know if that one I had has the springs ability to flip back and forth. So what I was thinking of doing, and why I changed this light switch to be 3 relays, I know someone was asking, is, if you can see that little blue light, I put the LED as the 3rd relay. It's not truly a relay, it's just the LED. And the way this switch is, whenever you push the green, it has a green light behind it, and those are not controllable. These little green lights are hard wired into the actual relay itself. So Shelly good for fan light. Yeah, the Shelly, the Shelly products are good. I haven't had any problems with them, and I do like how they have there's several options you can use, whether you can stick with the stock firmware and use the Home Assistant HACS was the community store add-on. You can use that with the cloud, or you can do the You can do the MQTT is built into the stock firmware. You got to turn it off, and it kind of takes them out the cloud and uses MQTT. And then a lot of the Shelly products also have the open pin headers on them, where you can. I see they have the is it Shelly? Well, okay. Where you can have the. I need to put it on the screen so y'all can see it, right? Yeah, I love all the options you can do with the Shelly. Now I'm more of a hey, I like to make my stuff all the same. So, for Shelly, I'm gonna probably put I'm gonna put Tasmodo on it. And but the cool thing is they allow you to do that. I mean, and what other company shows you right here on the page, the product page, not dug into some document or hidden. They actually show you the pin header with the exact pinouts right there for you. So that's pretty cool, I think. And so it's kind of like they know people. Hey, if you're gonna flash it, go ahead. We're gonna put a pin header for you, and we're gonna show you the documentation. But then you're kind of on your own. But so you've got so many different ways you can do it to Shelly, and it's just I think it's cool the way they kind of embrace the open source community and everything too. So um, but I did have a couple. Well, I'll probably have a couple different Shelly devices. I wanted to I wanted to check out the Shelly floods, and but I haven't. Here's the. I know we jumped way off into something else, but hey, that's great, right? Somebody get pissed off, and we'll jump back to the switch, right? Um, but the Shelly flood I thought was kind of neat, it but then when I opened it up, well, I forgot the battery. So it's I guess I should turn on the light if y'all want to see it. And no, I'm not gonna holler out at Google. I'll be nice. So I forgot the battery, and it's just a little CR1238, and you can actually see the ESP chip right here. And actually, I believe this right here, I'd have to zoom in closer, is actually a pin header for you if you did want to flash this and put like Tasmodo or ESP Home. But you just have to keep in mind that you would need to use a firmware that is going to sleep. Because, of course, off a battery, you don't want it to be using, you know, all your battery and burn your battery down. So, play around with helpers at all yet? What is the helpers, Adam? Tell me more. And I'll switch it back over and turn the light out, because otherwise you won't see the LED for the lights too bright. And yes, I push a manual button for a light. I'm too used to hollering out at the voice assistants. So what I'm planning on doing is basically whenever and I haven't really thought about everything on it, but of course I'm gonna do the fan is gonna be at the bottom, and you can flip this switch either way you want. And then the light will be at the top, and it is just a regular LED bulb, so we'll use the relay. And I kind of hate when they hardwire those LEDs, but it does give me the ability. If you really wanted to, it's probably not that hard to go in and cover the LED or knock the LED off the board. I haven't thought about modifying it, but I haven't even upgraded to 107 yet, so that's probably why I don't know what helpers are. I want to be able to control the blue LED, And so the blue LED, if I come in the bathroom and the fan is on, if I see the blue LED, well, then I know that the fan is running due to an automation. So the automation would be based off that humidity sensor that I put in there. And then I wanted to be able to do a long press where if we wanted to leave the fan on without humidity, turning it back off, and DigiBlur's the helper. So I haven't thought about all the different automations for this thing just yet. So typically I probably want to I'm gonna put it in and just have the automation turn on the relay number 3, and then we'll kind of work. I kind of want to get a feel for what issues it causes with the automation, whether the fans turned on automatically, and because I want the light to turn on and then turn the fan on, but then if there's not enough humidity, then probably turn the fan. But I know I hadn't thought about all the different situations. Oh, okay. Well, Sir Goodenough did a video. Can you show the back? Yeah, we can show the back. It's weird on the back, I tell you that. Let me turn the light back on. I keep doing this. Let me turn I have a Home Assistant up here somewhere. The Home Assistant GUI I never use. So let me disconnect it here and hit this button. So just so y'all can see I'm unplugging it. So here's the back of it. And I'm trying to get out the glare. It'll still be zoomed in. It's actually the same. You can see the three switch one. I have to get my audio here. The 3 switch one, they just have a blank here. It is on the side, but it's just simple. There's the ground. I don't know if I got my zoom right. The ground, neutral, and then line. And then you got you're up to 3 outputs. Well, this one's only the 2. So, of course, you're going to get the 2. And they just little screw terminals. And this is 14 gauge wire that I have in here. But 12, if you have 12 gauge should fit as well. That's what I have in the wall. In this house is going to be 12 gauge. So it should fit as well. So... yeah, if his link doesn't come through, I go snag the link. And sometimes YouTube doesn't want to doesn't even want to give me the option to approve the link. But it's sure good enough. Max amps. Did it say on there? I've already hooked it back up. It does say work. Is it max amps? It says 400 watts per gain. See that? There's that gain thing again. It might be 10 amps total per the whole switch. But like I said, I'm only going to be, even if that's true, that would give you 5 amps per switch, per relay. And how much light do you really have in the bathroom with your... don't put a heater on this. I can tell you that. You're fine with it. If you've got a 5 amp vent, that's pretty massive. So someone who has 5 amps of ventilation and 5 amps of lighting in their bathroom, I got to see that one. So, but definitely do not put a heater. I've seen too many horror stories of heaters on Stone Off Basics to make me want to put a heater on any smart switch anymore. Yeah, no, I haven't done any dehumidifier. I'll go grab that out of there right quick. Copy link, and yeah, there's the Discord link if anybody wants it. If Nightbot's awake, yeah. And there's the link to Sir Goodenough video. So don't run off and if you're having too much fun here. Yeah, I would feel better doing why is my mouse not moving on I would feel better doing heater on a Shelly because they are UL listed. And where's the amperage on the Shelly 2.5? Oh, they're 10 amps per. And I want to say with the Shelly1 is 15 amps. I know that I think the PM is, but I'm not sure about the one. Okay, so there you go. It is 15 amps. See, I would feel safer doing either Shelly1, especially as the UL listed one, and it should be listed. I'll just go with Mark. I think I've seen that before. They are. I probably didn't pass it. Up to 3,500 watts. Where's it at? Here's the input. I guess I should just do a Control F for 15A, right? I don't see it. But I think that's what I've seen is the Shelly1 is 15 amps. So, kind of like how I won't put... Come on, you don't want to put a garbage disposal on a smart switch? I mean, that way you can just turn... I passed it. You can turn the garbage disposal on while you're halfway across the country, right? Yeah, just... I would make sure in... Let's see if we can find the word 15. I don't even see 15 listed on the page. Let's just in a graphic. I saw it was 3,500 watts, but I hate when they talk about watts because that depends on all the amount of voltage you're putting in there. I'm cruising slow. So yeah, the Shelly stuff is cool. And I know that people were wondering they have a for the US folks, they do have a US store now, and so you can order from that store. Yeah, and the Shelly, I hadn't want to talk about the whole Shelly thing, but I guess we can. I do have, if you want to see how small they are, I know we got a lot of questions about the Shelly stuff. Well, I'll get to the switch here in a second. Give me 1 second. So, I think they used to have some affiliate link thing with the store, but I think they changed the stores. I don't remember exactly if they still, if I had to re-sign up for it or not. So I don't know. If there is, I'll post it down in the description of the video of this live stream later if you want. I'll look after the video. Because they're not, I'm betting they're not going to be on, let's see. Oh, look, they do have the Shelly 2.5, the Shelly 2, they got 4 left in stock. What is the, let's see what they would take to get to me. Free delivery on Saturday. So I could get, if I buy them on Sunday and get them on Saturday, right? That's not bad considering the times we're in right now. If I order the 2-pack, I can get them on Thursday. That's typically, I ordered some stuff earlier and I knew it was going to come in Thursday. So, there was 5, but I ordered 1. So, if you do, we'll throw these out here. I'd say if you want, I would order from, for the U.S. folks, is if you're wanting to get into the whole Shelly thing, and order from Amazon while you can. Yeah, that's the link to the Shelly there. The 2-button switch is this one, David. That should pull up to the 2-button switch. But let me get. I know we jumped way off. So I'm gonna show you guys the. So this is the Shelly1. Look, this one shows 16 amps, and this is the Shelly 2.5, and we already found that out. Show is 10 amp. This is the Shelly1 PM, and I wonder if they have that one. Shelly1 PM. Yeah, they actually have that one as well. So there's still a few Shelly products on, but of course I'm sure that's quickly going to change on Amazon, because one way I understand it with Amazon is they're going to sell out, which makes sense to me. They're going to sell out of the products that they have in the warehouses, but they're not going to inbound anything else into the warehouses. They're only going to inbound the what they deem essential products, which that makes sense, because then you're not sitting on a bunch of old stock. You're not sitting on somebody's stock that's in there for prime, and then you're getting that stuff out of the way, and you still allow people to buy it. So that kind of makes sense to me. So, but the Shelly, it was funny when I opened the box, the Shelly 2.5. It's still in here. It was. I know it's going to be at a different angle, but I opened it up. I was like, "Where's it at? Did it fall out of the box?" And so I was like, "What's going on?" Well, then finally, yeah, you got to lift the thing up, but it's so super small. And I know you've seen the Shelly. Some people haven't. Some people have. The Shelly. There's that little pin header on the top, along with the button. There's a little LED in it. But just for size relation, I know a lot of people have seen the Wemos, little Wi-Fi adapter, for ESP8266. But you can see they are pretty. I mean, the Wemos it's a little bit bigger than the Wemos, so this thing's small. That's crazy. And then the Shelly1 PM looks a lot like the Shelly1. And, of course, it about the same size, a little bigger than a Wemo's D1 Mini. So, and the only thing I speak my mind about all this stuff, and there is a pin header right here as well. There's a little red cap on it, a little rubber cap that's on the pin header. The only thing I don't like about the Shellys, and it's just due to their design, is considering the switch is, you can just, and I know this is for the US folks, you can just take one of these switches and you pop in the few wires and boom, you're done. Especially some of the other switches that have the jumpers already on them. You pop them in, put them in a Wago 221 or a wire nut, and you're done. The only thing with, say, doing a Shelly 1 or Shelly 2 or whatever it is in my house I have all 12 gauge wiring, and if you've messed with 12 gauge solid just is a pain in the ass to bend and everything, and it's just trying to fit this behind the switch in a box with 12 gauge. It's horrible. And so I end up exactly what Mark just said. I end up using some jumpers with some stranded, like 16 or 14, and use some stranded wire that's flexible, and you're also not going to break it because it's flexible, and I make up those pigtails. But then of course that adds to the amount of stuff you have in the box, the pigtails, etc. So it just kind of depends on what you want to use for time wise and everything. Kind of pick your poison. So, hey, what's up, Jesse? So, but what makes a huge difference is, and I know I've talked about them in one of my videos, that makes a huge difference is the Wago 221 connectors. And I know there were several people that told me to get these things over and over and over, but I just looked at the cost of them and I'm like, man, I'm not spending that much for a stupid wire nut with little doors on it. but I finally broke down and bought some. If that was a good while back, and I won't go back. So the Wago 221s are pretty cool. And if you I use the 3 and the 5 on the Wagos, and actually want to if I'll drop a link for any Wagos out there. I don't use the 2 really. Yeah, that's the challenge I've had. Is the trying to make everything fit in some of these 4-gang boxes. Um, yeah, I don't. There are some knockoffs, and I don't buy the knockoffs. I kind of prefer. I know the Wago has a video, and you go look on their website, and they're certified for use in like a lot of different European countries and the U.S., etc. Exactly what Mark has said. I don't buy the little knockoffs of the Wagos. I buy the Wago 221s that actually say Wago and they're from Wago, etc. Um, you don't seem to use them on the ground wires. You can use them on the ground wires, but I don't because of the cost. And because ground wires are all bare anyway, and so I can just twist those together and just shove them in the back, and they're bare anyway. And I have used them. It just depends. Sonoff, I'm inside like split bolt. Oh, the ideal inshore? What is the ideal inshore? See, I'm always up for. Oh, yeah, I've seen those. Okay, yep, I've seen the ideal inshores. I want to say I've seen those in like Lowe's or Home Depot. Yep. I might have to try. I might have to try the inshores at one time just to see. I always like to compare stuff, and I'm always like, hey, is this better? Is that better? Yeah, I've seen those actually used before. Yeah, I'll have to give them a shot, Leland, and I'll see if they got a. Cause I'm in Home Depot a lot. Well, used to, but I went the other day. So, um, let's see if I can catch up on a question here. Shelly Powell versus Shelly PM. Oh wow, Shelly Powell, not Shelly Powell, Sonoff Powell. Sonoff Powell, that thing's big. It's like the Sonoff Duel. It's pretty big. It would be tough. It is tough to put in a box. Um, yeah. Oh, Shelly 2.5K. When a solid wire got a bit loose. Yeah, that's that. They you can also what do they call them, the ferrule connectors. I've used those before as well, where you look crimp on the little connectors on the stranded wire. Um, I would, if I was doing something new, I would. The one thing you're gonna get over a Sonoff POW is you could probably more safely put that somewhere because of the way the connectors are on the. Let's see if we can find a picture of one. I keep calling it the Shelly POW. Is the Sonoff POW? Yeah, there's no wires exposed, so you could like safely put that somewhere, and you wouldn't end up shocking yourself or kids or whatever or something falling on it because it actually has this metal, the plastic little piece that goes over the wires, and so you wouldn't end up, you know, something falling on it. Like now, if you look at the Shelly POW. I was so butchering names. The Shelly PM, you can actually see the metal contacts are right here along with the screws right there on top. So you would want to put that in some sort of case to prevent them from yeah, Yeah, you could do and see it just you would need a case for the Shelly ones. That's the other downside to it. They're smaller, probably I would say better, easier to use. Cost wise, what we're looking at 33 divided by where's my math people? You're like at $16 a piece versus it's probably negligible the amount of the difference. Yeah, see, actually the Sonoff, the Shelly PMs are a little cheaper. Well, if you do 33, you'd be good. I would probably roll with the Shelly if I were you. Um, yeah, the fair. What I know we're talking about the ferrules, something like this. Look, there you go. I purchased one time. The if you are doing stranded wiring and you're putting them into like with mains, I highly suggest using the ferrules. Um, it's pretty cool to just it keeps all the strands from jumping over. Um, and yeah, we'll jump back over to Tasmodo. We have gone way off on topic, but that's good. Um, those aren't for 120. I saw. How far do those go up? I must have been using I haven't used them any of mine yet. Do they have one for? I don't see if there's voltage on them. I guess that's a bad thing. There's no voltage listed on it. Yep. So jumping back, we did talk about. Yeah. So Patrick answered it. You need to once you upgrade to 8.2. Yeah, staying on topic. Yeah. I more bought that pack for the tool. Um, yeah. So it's a metal. It's just a metal. It's a sleeve. It goes over the connector and it makes a hard, like a little shank that can stick in the connector. That way you don't have like a hair coming out. Um, yeah. So Patrick is answering all the questions on this for the GZ ones. You can see the size. I know we'll circle back to the switch. I did want to get back to that. So good. Thanks for that. I did link the tool up there, Scubman. Look right before where Patrick said running at least 8.2. You might have to scroll back. Um, and there's several of them in there. Just dig around and look and see. So back to the switch. I know there was a question. Someone said we got way off on Shelly's and other stuff, which is good. I mean, I like the Shelly's are cool. And let's see. Someone asked about the buttons. The buttons are more. They're not clicky like some of like the GoSun switches are. They're more like I would have to say almost like the Martin Jerry buttons, but maybe not as solid of a they're not really a click. You can tell there's just a little button behind there, and it's pretty easy to press. I've had no issue, and I know my son, which is 5, and he's not going to have any issue pushing these. So, but so yeah, but the GZ files, don't do the GZ files yet. You'll want to you'll need to get to 8.2 first. And then then later on you can use the GZ files. Yeah, I would say I've got a Logitech mouse. They're not as clicky. I don't know what else. I'm trying to think what else y'all can think about. But there's not a whole lot of travel to them. You don't have to push them really. Some switches you got to really push them in. There's not a whole lot of travel to them. So it's pretty. I did look at that for thinking about him when he's pushing the buttons. So, and Yeah, that loud click, it's not that loud click. Now, of course, the relay clicks behind there, but you don't have that click click, like some of the Ghost Suns. Yeah, whack whack. Once you, I'm gonna screw up your name. I can tell already. Um, is if you get to 8.2 first, and then you can. Hey, yeah, we'll just start over for Will, right? We only talked about Proxmox for a couple times, Will. So um, we got way off of the whole thing of going talking about Shellys and stuff like that, which was good. I think the whole thing was, you know, I think the Shellys are cool. So yeah, you got to get to 8.2, which is here. I put it in layman's terms. You the think about the core was Windows 8, but now the core for 8.2 comes with Windows 10. And so now you got to get to Windows 10, and then next time, say 8.25 or 8.25 to 8.3 or whatever, then you can use the GZ files after that. So, did you just get snow? No, I didn't get no snow here. I got the AC on. I was mowing the grass today. Um, so what I'm thinking of doing is, GZ files compressed firmware. So we'll try it if y'all want to. We can try one right now. Um, I got 8.2.01 on this guy, and what I'm wanting to do is in here I'm going to do relay 3. And looking at the time, I probably won't get to the rules on this. Got earthquakes here. Yeah. And I want to do when the automation kicks in, I'm going to do the blue LED for whenever the fan is turned on for based on the humidity. And so when the humidity kicks up, it'll turn on, like say it's above 85%, and it's going to turn on the fan. So, and do the ventilation, which kind of basically a really simple nutshell is I can show one we did yesterday. Let me just log in first before, so I don't, because this is a production house. Let me get into his Node Red. If we don't change his stuff, right? I'll bring it to the side here, while y'all talk locations. Let me get this off the screen here. This is what I'm talking about. Just a simple. This is a simple little thing we're trying to do here. Is, oh, it's gonna be in the way of the chat. Don't do that, Travis. Hide something. We'll do this. That should be good, and then we'll zoom it out. So this was yesterday. I put in the cleaner version of the. If you watched that multi-sensor video I did on the humidity, yeah, it's about 30 minutes away. So it's a real simple thing. We did the bathroom humidity pulls every 30 seconds. It's off that same sensor I did on the video a couple days ago, or a few days ago. And I know he's been tweaking the values. So every 30 seconds it pulls, and real simple automation we set up. I kind of let him run with it. Is when it's greater than 73%, and the bathroom light is a bathroom fan. We haven't done the light into it yet. And yeah, I think it was Mark was the one that he was giving me he was nicely telling me that I should have made it better, and I did so. I'll show you a picture in a bit. Um, so we turn the bathroom fan on, and then when the humidity falls down below 67, and the reason why I left the gap along with the 30-second pull is just so you don't end up with that rocking back and forth. So when the humidity, say it falls to, if you did 73, anything you did as a hard wall, well then if it got to 72, it would turn the fan off. But then say for instance it went up to 74, well then the fan would turn back on. So you end up with that rocking back and forth. So we did that gap and just turned and it works pretty good, along with putting the fan in his closet to pull the Raspberry Pi and his NVR down on the temperature. I showed a picture in Discord of it. I don't know if I'll be able to see back that far, but the Pi 4 in his closet sitting on top of an NVR was running like 140 degrees, and now it runs. Now let's see if it shows the state that far. I'd have to go back in the logbook, but now it's running around 102, 104 instead of 140 because we put a fan in that closet. So, but so the better picture. Let's see. Here, I need to get my info off of here. So here's the better one. Y'all us all talking about the Corona Quake. So there's the better quality one I did. It's still a BME 280, and I put it I just put the BME 280 in the back. Put my pointer up. Does anyone try unplugging 2020 and resetting? Yeah, so there's the BME 280 is still right here, and it's the same. We did the same exactly. The LED is for whatever. It's just for really whatever. It's one neopixel, so you can set whatever brightness, whatever color, whatever you want. And the reason why we went the neopixel is so it doesn't have that PWM issue of the ESP8266, where it does that flicker because the software LED drivers. So I don't see the flicker on. Now, we need to bring it really, really low. You may see it, but it works fine whenever you use the yeah. And we did whatever automation you want to do. I thought about, well, maybe when we long press and do an override on the fan, and say you want the fan on for a long time, and do a long press on a button, and then it'll show. You can actually show in that bathroom, show a dim red LED. Yeah, so that's what we did, and we I don't know if I have any pictures in the attic. So we actually have it installed. We actually installed it above the shower here. And I'm not sure. He's got this shower curtain in front of the glass. I didn't ask. But so it's actually, we installed it above. And so it's behind the corner. You really don't see it. But it's above the shower. And his thought was also to catch the PIR sensor so we could keep the light on. But the wonderful thing about when the heat from the shower is spraying down, it triggers the PIR all the time because of picking up infrared. So yeah, all we did was I I had some leftover spool of 18 gauge speaker wire, and I just took. I had an old. I actually showed it in the video. I had this. I'm pulling my pictures out the way so I don't share anything I'm not supposed to. Not that I have anything. Um, I had an old I think it was from an old router or something. It was a 5 volt, 2 amp, way more than enough power than we needed just for a little Node MCU and a LED and a BME 280. So there was a box in the attic where the air conditioner plugs in, and we plugged it in there, and then I ran the 5 volts from that over to a box. This is the one I installed at my place. Let's see. I'm looking. This is a little better. If you haven't, I want to say I showed this in the video, probably towards the end or something. And I'm probably gonna redoing mine, but because you can see the BME 280s out the bottom. You know, it's actually showing on the faceplate. But I put a old work box in the attic. I mean, it cut a hole in it between the studs and then ran 5 volts to it. Most of the houses here are just single story, so it makes it easy you can get on top of every single room you want. It makes it pretty easy to run power to. Otherwise, I probably would have, if I couldn't have been able to do that, I probably would have had to replace one of the add a box and put it in, because I wouldn't want a sensor just sitting on a counter in a bathroom. It's gonna get hit or something like that. You could do some battery powered stuff, but I really didn't want to go battery powered. I wanted to since I had the ability to do this, so I probably would have put one in the wall, but then that's a whole nother deal. I don't really like battery powered Zigbee stuff too much. I wasn't planning on setting Zigbee up here either for now. So, so the only splice from existing fan mains power, you could, but the fan is switched. And then you would need to put some sort of power supply in there. So I guess we could have put the power supply in there, but I would have wanted to go with a different power supply then. So something that had, terminals in. Yeah, need video of you crawling around an attic. That's always fun. I did one, man. Of I want to say I had a clip. You probably did. Yeah, you're supposed to watch every single video, right? You probably didn't watch this one. I wonder what happens if you watch yourself on live. Is that truly live on live? Actually, I did crawl around the attic in this, and I had pictures. Because I opened your ceiling for you. Actually, I crawled around in the attic on this video here. So recently, let's mute it. I don't know if I can find it. Yeah. You talk too much, Travis. We're trying to look for the cool in the attic video. Oh, so there's one frame. I want to say I did. Look, there you go. See, there's a video of me crawling around the attic. But that was all brand new construction, so it wasn't the fiberglass insulation. So, and it was a very massive attic, which made it very easy. Cut out the hardest part, huh? It's kind of a pain to. I guess if I would wear the GoPro, right? I've never seen your twin before. Wait, you've seen my twin? I gotta give I'm trying to remember. Oh, somebody posted it one time. If I can remember the guy's name. We talked about it in one live stream. Don't load the cop. There you go. That's the picture. The doppelganger was the cop. I can't remember it offhand. The barcode man. See, look, even Federico knows that. So you saw it, can't unsee it. I wonder if we could Google that. Should we can Google that, right? Barcode cop meme. Look at that. Look, there's another guy. There's not just one, man. See? Can we just put it really? Can we put it? Look. See? Here we go. But the hair is different, right? Wait. We can turn. If we turn to the side, am I doing it right? About right there or something? About right in there? Wait. Over to the side. Right in there, right? I guess I gotta go shave first. So I don't know. See, if we turn the lights off, there's a little bit, So you guys know not to take me seriously, none of this crap, right? And I won't get off on any other subjects. I won't. Actually, I did show that picture to my mom one time, and she really thought that was me. And same thing for my son. My son was like, "Why are you in a cop uniform?" So, is there a pre-made solution to go from AC mains to DC mic without stuffing and off the? See, that's what I didn't want to do, Scott. I did not want to stuff a off-the-shelf power supply and then somehow bootleg, hook it up to some wires. I didn't want to go down that. So yeah, there is some probably. I'm gonna call it probably the buck, not the buck converter, but I don't know. Is there? What do they call them? 5 volt. I would want something that's already kind of in a case. I'm gonna come up with all kind of crap. Yeah, exactly. Um, I would kind of what I would envision would be very cool is if there was something that looked like the Shelly1 that just had, your neutral and line in on one side with screw terminals, and then on the other side you had your 5 volts or 12 volts or 3.3 volts or whatever, depending on the one you wanted. Probably just 5 volts to fit a lot of stuff. That would be cool. Already in like a little case that's like a Shelly1. Yeah, Will, give me a link if YouTube eats it. Let me know. Drop it into Discord. Look, now I got. He's a wrench. He should be able to. He's feverishly digging for it right now. Look, there it is. Uh-oh, he gave us a bit.ly link. Is that safe to click? I don't know. Y'all trust Will? So we got live wire in. Neutral. Oh, and so it does 12 volts and 5 volts out. And that's kind of, it's close. And I know I'm probably asking for the world here. Yeah, if it would, because it's not, now for me, it's not hard to solder some simple jumpers onto it. And then be in a case. That'd be pretty cool. Um, but I'm sure one of the gurus the gurus here on the 3D printing gurus could probably print something. So what's this one? We got line in. What's the voltage out? 5 volts. 700 milliamps. Yeah, that's plenty enough. But do you trust an 85-cent power supply? Top left. We see in top left corner. Trivia Pursuit via Skype. Now that's a good idea. You know what's funny, and I think it's good too in a way, is the he's talking about doing via Skype. I've actually. Oh, okay, cool. So I've actually seen a lot of notifications on my phone of every time someone joins Google Duo, and then my contacts, it tells me, hey, such and such is on Duo now. Um, I really like. I've used Google Duo a lot, and it's really cool because Duo can be used between um, iOS and Android. So if you're looking at video chat, your friends and family, Duo is the way to go. It's stupid simple, and it's just there. It works great. So um, this is three modules. Top left corner is a module I have. Okay, top. Yeah. So that would be pretty cool, and as long as it had a fuse or something, right? Because I've actually looked at getting some different little power supplies, making some boards, and they were so big. The like those Meanwell power supplies, and then by the time you had added all the stuff to them, it kind of went to the wayside. So, well, I didn't get to the switches and the rules on it. Maybe we'll cover that another time once I get it installed and play with it. And I'm already done with an hour and 23. So we'll do about an hour and I'm trying to get out an hour and a half. So any other crazy questions or stuff I maybe missed? Before we jump out, and I know we only said, which was good. We only had one mention of the C word. So and I scrolled past it on the Google. I know everybody's been hearing enough about that, so we won't talk about that one. Sir, we need to get Proxmox up for you. Look, it is up, man. 8, 9. Oh, it was up. Hold up. Is it up? It should be up. There it is. Hold up. Look. It's Proxmox. So, but me and Will kind of talked off. That was one thing I did talk about before you came on, Will, was I was trying to get 2U Convert running on it. Actually, yeah, the 8, that's it. Actually, for if I was doing 2 PIRs, I would just just because I always want to change stuff in the future. I want to say change stuff in the past. I don't have a flux capacitor for that one. Is I would just put them both. I've done 2 PIRs actually on a Node MCU because I had them pointing different ways down the hallway, and I was trying to detect the direction you were walking down the hallway, and it did work. But I would just hook them up to different GPIO pins, and then you can group them and do with what you want with them software wise. Yeah. This was the error. Let's see. Yeah, this was the error. If you want to see which we're and don't take this as any bashing or anything of. Let me close some of these windows here. I got too many windows up. So this is what happens when I go to the shell. Let me get this out of the way. Was it whiskers to you convert? And I did, this was on that little HP 290 box. I did have to finally get the driver going. I had two other whiskers help me out a good bit, and we went down to some big rabbit holes of trying to get some Wi-Fi drivers going. And we did get them going, but then we found out that one of them wouldn't work, and then one of them, it just turned into a whole mess. And so then I jumped back onto um, you trying to get the one that's internal on the HP 290, and I got it going. The driver says it works, but this is what happens whenever it tries to go in and start the container. And I haven't been able. I was busy during the day, and I haven't been able to hit Whiskers back up. And I did send the error, but he said he needed to work on it with me to see exactly what the issue is. Unless anybody knows exactly what that issue is. And I've wiped the machine and blew out the machine and put it back just in case that's what it was. The chipset on there was was it LS PCI E-K, I think it was. What's the command on there? I know someone's going to tell me before I can click on there. It's LSPCI. I was close. LSPCI. Yeah, so we got it. It's this one here, the RTL 8821CE. And I was able to get that one. I don't know if it has AP mode. Don't you have to pay for Meraki? Yeah, and I do have my OpenSense box running, but I'm testing it on two computers. I haven't jumped into it just yet and ripped the Band-Aid off and threw it into the network. So I got the driver installed, but I don't know why I couldn't get it allows me to get past, and it shows it as AP mode. Yeah, I had to go and find. There were some commands I had to go. It was like, where is it at? This is what I had to go do. I sent it to. Let's see. It must be, and it could be something to what I had to go run this and do the install and everything for that driver, and it did work. So, but I haven't. I guess I should try and make sure I can attach to the network. But yeah. So this is what it's supposed to do. Open original. That's what it's supposed to do. Not what mine did. So, like I say, mine was down a big rabbit hole. So, but that would be kind of cool to do on an HP 290 box that we covered last live stream, is be able to put like your Home Assistant on it, and it's a cheap and inexpensive box, and then be able to run whatever VMs you want on it, plus do to you convert. So without having to do a Pi and the whole 9 yards. So maybe we'll share that. We can get that going. We'll since everybody and their dog will be bored, and if the internets are still working, maybe we can do a live stream after we fix that one and get it going, and show what we did to get it fixed. So it'd be pretty cool. We have Mac OS running on it too. Okay, well, I don't need to learn. I need to learn some other stuff before I learn some other operating systems. But make sure I have any other messages. Who's all right? Okay. Anything else? I know we've gone, and this is what your wonderful friends do on on Discord. They post pictures. They just take screenshots of you, which is great. And see, I'll take that screenshot and then we'll start off next live stream, have as my desktop, right? So yeah, so it's always good. It's always good you can pick on yourself, because guess what? I won't be offended by that. So, and that's all there is to it. You should do some unraid videos. Yeah, yeah, that actually is not a bad idea, Matthew. Is I do get that question a good bit on how to run Home Assistant on Unraid, and some things have changed, and the supervisor doesn't want to run correctly if you try to run it as a container. Maybe you should run it as a VM, but run it as a... So there's probably some questions down to it. I've been playing with that, so it might be not a bad idea. And the Node-RED container has changed and stuff like that. So, yeah, that's not a bad idea. We'll put that as the thumbnail. Can we do that? I don't know if it lets us change the thumbnail while I had the video going. Create highlight video, share, live stream settings. Oh, it's not gonna let me do it. I'll change the look there. I'll change the thumbnail after the video, the stream post. So, so you're still using the supervisor Docker container? I know I've had several people saying that the supervisor keeps stopping. I haven't ran it that way in a while myself. I use just and I think they call it Home Assistant Core now. Don't get me started on names. The Home Assistant, just plain old Docker container, I have that installed, and that's what I use for my production stuff. And the other way was running the containers with the supervisor. And the other way I like to run it, as I had the HAS OS installed as a VM, but then one day it blew up on me, and luckily it was just a test build I did for videos. But I just installed Debian as a VM, and that way it'll be kind of a open, but yet still be Home Assistant with the supervisor. So it's kind of what I'll show kind of both methods, and it might be a bad thing if you can show both methods, and then what's the pros and cons to both. I kind of prefer where I can run, but I'm weird in that aspect that I like to have multiple copies of Home Assistant and just have them in containers, and I won't have to. I find the stuff easier to fix, and I can roll back versions pretty easily. So there's pros and cons. So we didn't get to everything. We didn't get to the rules on the switches and Node-RED, but maybe I'll get some stuff. I'm not exactly sure 100% on how I wanted to do that switch exactly. I still got to think about that. So, yeah. So if we ain't no other crazy questions, Adam Oberly. And if anybody, it was a whole bunch of rambling, but hey, why not? It's a weird time. Everybody's bored. Gonna be bored. If you still wanted to jump off with somebody and you didn't have the Discord link, there it is. And definitely echo what Michael said. Stay safe and do what you got to do. And y'all take care.